Hey guys, back with another video. Today we'll be doing what if Deku had venom, and this actually did better than I thought it would be. I didn't expect much from it. I only did this because I was playing the game, the Spider-Man game. But okay. So okay, so Deku has stayed a week in his house, and well, in his room in particular, or his office in particularly. He has not come out for a few weeks, and he's just there sitting down, working on something, also doing his actual job. Well, to him is a hobby, but to the people he's working for, it's a job. But anyways, he's doing his job, also doing something else. He's making a suit, not a Spider-Man suit, no. He's making a suit to attach the attachments that he wants. So stuff like a gas mask, I put that onto the suit. Stuff like arms, like do you see the arms that the Iron Man spider suit has? Those arms, you want to put those on, and he want to put like earmuffs to so song doesn't really affect him that much. Because if you remember, Venom has like two weaknesses, and I covered the fire weakness with the temperature, so he can't like get affected by temperature or anything. And he put on fire, so like he can't get affected by fire. So not at this point, but he can be affected by sound, but only Jiro's sound, because Jiro can make a lot of it because it's her heartbeat, and she can increase the sound of her heartbeat. So yeah, Jiro could not, she can't beat Deku on like on 1-on-1, but if she was with the team and she was helping that team to beat Deku, they have a 50-50 chance of winning. So yeah. So Deku's working on that at the same time, and he has not come out. He has not slept. He's been using Venom to well, not Venom, his symbiote, because his quirk is labeled as symbiote, and his symbiote. So Deku's working on something. He says, Venom, tell me what the weather is, and he tells him that it's a cloudy day, cold, and it's rain had fell this morning, and he was like, all right, thanks, and he went back working. He finally finished, and when he finished, he said yes. He also attached a kind of canister. Well, it's he can charge lightning. He can put the lightning in this canister, not a canister, but like in this space, and it would hold the lightning until he wants it. So then you could compress the lightning and shoot it in a beam. And it was in the shape of a Spider-Man symbol on the chest. He then let his hand turn into a venom arm. So like his arm became like this arm here. And he touched the suit, and venom spread over it, and then just like that, the suit disappeared and entered his body. He asked Jarvis where his main hub system is and where the copy of it is, and Jarvis said in the left corner of the room, and he went to the left corner of the room, and he said, and he saw a little like flash drive, or a little metal box flash drive thing, and it had the word for venom. I said Jarvis just now, it's venom, sorry. He put his hand on it, and the venom, well, the symbiote absorbed the flash drive, and Deku then put on his whole suit. Then Deku, when he went into his whole suit, he said heads up display, and a heads up display came around, scanning his body, checking his vitals, his bones, doing everything. He said release the arms, and then 4 spider arms came out of his back, which is like the Iron Spider arms things. He said infrared vision, and he could see infrared now. But he saw, when he looked at a door, he saw something. he took it off. At this point, Deku has bags under his eyes, so yeah, he took off his suit and he reverted to his normal form. And Deku looked at went outside and he saw Momo, Suyu, and Jiro out on the just sitting like laying down on the floor, like basically waiting for him to come out. And he woke him up, and well, he didn't wake him up. Sorry, he realized what happened, and he got kind of sad because first he didn't even notice they were outside, and that they were if they stayed he wondered if they stayed here overnight, and then he wondered that he's really being a bad boyfriend because yeah, they're dating, and he just straight up for no reason just got up and went into his lab or office for a whole month and didn't come out, and they were probably worried sick. Now, yes, Deku did bring in snacks and chocolate and food inside of his office, and there is a stove and refrigerator there, so he didn't really need to go back outside. So he just stood in there, and he felt really bad. And even though he was tired AF, because yes, he's been using venom to keep up his stamina, he he can't do that all the time, and he is still tired. So he goes to the kitchen, makes some pancakes, some eggs, some bacon, some orange juice, some cereal, some waffles, some omelets, then some French toast, and he just put it on the table. And he went and took a bath, got on some fresh clothes, put on his necklace. If you see it, you can see it in the thing, in the thumbnail. See, put his necklace on, and put on some shoes. Then he just went outside, and he went into his room and saw the three girls there sleeping. Because before he picked them up and carried them to his room while they were still sleeping. Deku put fresh clothes for them all on the side of the bed. Yes, Deku, they do sleep here sometimes, so so they do have clothes over here, but Jiro stays here most of the time, where Suyu, Fapri, I honestly don't know her real. I think that's her real name. I'm not 100% sure because I keep calling her Froppy, her hero name. So Suyu, I'm gonna keep calling her Suyu. So no, she said, oh yeah, her name is Suyu, but she likes to call people like she likes her friends to call you Sue. Okay, I bet. So he just so after a while they wake up, and Deku just went to the market to get some cereal, not some cereal, some milk, and he just entered the room when they woke up because they heard the door open, and Deku closed it back, and he just went and poured the milk in the cereal and was waiting on them. They saw the clothes at the side of the bed, and they went and take a shower because there's a shower inside of the bedroom. If you didn't see his house, in the last video, this is Deku's house. So. Deku's house. So they took a shower. All three of them at the same time because they're girls. Like it's girls. The fuck. Anyways, they dried themselves off and put on the fresh clothes. And Deku they walk out and they see Deku, and Deku still has a bag under his eyes. He's a little bit awake because he went and took a shower, because if you don't know, when cold water hits the body, it kind of feels a jolt of like, not a lot of energy per se, but it kind of wakes you up. So like if you were sleeping, right, and you go to take a cold bath, you would wake up. So you would wake up and be fully aware. Okay, so Deku did that, and they saw the breakfast, and they got a little water in their mouth, and They sat down. Deku just said one word. I'm sorry. Well, that's two words. Anyways, I don't give a fuck. He just said I'm sorry, and they asked what he's sorry about. He said that y'all guys was waiting for me. God knows how long, and I didn't even notice that you were outside, and I didn't tell you I was going in my lab for a month. So y'all did that, even though you shouldn't have. They said he's don't worry about it, and it's a part of loving him. He has to sacrifice some time. They get that. So Deku smiles and he gets up and kisses all of them on the cheek and just says, y'all guys are weird. And he laughs. And he tells them that he is going to his mom today, so if they come in, they could. They instantly got more happy because they love Deku's mom, because like it's Mama Deku, bro. It's Mama Midoriya. Who doesn't love Mama Midoriya? If you don't like Mama Midoriya, get off my channel, bitch. It's Mama. But if you love her, put respect to Mama Midoriya in the comments, or just put Mama Midoriya in the comments. Ugh. Anyways. So they get happy and they eat their food, and Deku already eat his French toast, his bacon, his pancakes, his orange juice, and some cereal. We all know that Deku has to eat a lot because symbiote, venom. Anyways, Deku goes in his room, grabs his keys, grabs his coat, and if you didn't know what his coat was, I'll describe it again. Deku's grab is a black coat with the end of with a hoodie, a black jacket. Sorry, with at the end of the hoodie there is a fur. So it's a pitch black hoodie at the end fur. So yeah, at the ends of the the ends of the sleeve, the ends of the sleeves, at the ends of the hoodie itself has gray fur on it. So Deku puts that on, and he asks them if they're coming, and they say of course, and they get ready, brush your teeth, do what they do, and then they hop in the car, the Lambo. No, actually no. Should I get Deku another car? Should I get him another car? It's not a priority because he's not gonna use it much, but like Deku, if you didn't realize, he likes cars, but he's not gonna like overdo it, like have a whole entire garage of cars. He's not gonna overdo it, although he could. He's not. So he might buy another car. Just saying. Deku goes into the house, drives to his mama's house, and it's Mama Midoriya, so she knows when her child pulls up to the garage, and she has maids and butlers, so they would know. She gets told, and Deku walks in, and Momo, Suyu and Jiro come in, and Jiro has been the only one that noticeably changed her look. Jiro now has a Mikasa like haircut, but of course her hair is thinner, and she's grown more, and she's developed more. Like her body developed more, if you know what I mean. Why am I even keeping it PG-13? I don't know. Anyways, she's developed more, and she's gone less shy about singing. Move like and Deku and her do sing. So like Deku can sing. He never really tried to because like he's Venom. He obviously can sing. Like the symbiote does that shit for him. But like he doesn't practice like Jiro does. But he can play all instruments. Waste of talent. Man just do all this stuff. Bonds can do all this stuff but doesn't do it because waste of talent. Anyways, Deku sits at the table and he's talking to his mom, but his mom is kinda ignoring him and talking to Jiro, Momo, and Suyu, and Deku is just like Seriously, I'm your firstborn, bro. Well, I'm your only child, but hey, pay attention to me, nigga. Anyway, so Deku gets up and he goes into his old room that has now been turned into a sauna. Now the house has three saunas, which Deku thought. And what is with his mom and saunas, bro? Oh my god. He walks out and just says, "I'm done. No, I'm done with all this sauna shit." And he goes into the kitchen, and he was going to make something to eat, but then the chef came and said, "Nah, fam, you rich. You ain't gotta do peasant work." And Deku like, "Nah, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm independent. Fuck that shit out on my face." And she says he implies it. No, 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 no. I'm gonna cook. It's my job, nigga. And Deku just like, he's like, I bet. And he just sits down and he makes him a sandwich, a tuna, a evaluated tuna, not tuna, tuna sandwich. Anyways, so Deku eats that tuna sandwich, and he goes back upstairs, and he still sees his mom talking to Jiro, Momo, and Suyu, and Deku kind of feels left out, but what can he do, anyways? So he goes into his room and goes into like the movie theater basically in their house, and he starts watching some movies, some old ones like, and then he comes across a mixtape, not a mixtape, not a mixtape, fuck, a tape. You know how those like tapes where those old timey tapes things. I don't know nothing about that shit. Like, anyways, oh, of course I do. I know what tapes are. Damn, those were some tough days. Anyways, yo, that shit was so stressful dealing with tapes, bro. If you don't know what tapes I'm talking about, I mean one of those movie tapes. Like, they also had mixtapes on them, but we don't talk about that. So Deku saw one and it said Deku's childhood, and Deku picked it up and put it in. He had to go up into his father's old room to do this because not his father's room. Fuck that. He has to go into his mama room, where she does have a mixtape player, and he puts it in. It starts playing. You can see Deku's dad with his face kind of faded out, which Deku didn't understand. Like his face was faded out, and this is Deku's real father, not Hazashi. Because I told you Deku's father is not Hazashi, but coincidentally, his other father, his real father, name was Hazashi too. So he had white hair, but like Deku didn't have white hair, but he did had white hair at a point in time. He does remember that. He did have white hair at a point in time, but it slowly started turning brown like his mother's. Well, the end of his mother's hair. And Deku was just looking at this and saying, "So that's my father." Deku always knew that the Hazashi that left them was not his father, but yeah. So he starts looking and he sees like his father smiling at him and just being a father basically, taking him out to walk, buying him ice cream, taking on a roller coaster, doing some stuff that he really did forget. Like, he doesn't remember how he did, and he can tell that his mom and this other person, well, it's also named Hazashi, but we all know that's not his real name. Guys, who you think Deku's real father is? Like, tell me, cause it's pretty clear about how I like put his quirk as. You can like, it's very similar to a person with a similar quirk to Deku's, but it's like a branch off version of his. But I digress. So who do you think Deku's father is? It's pretty easy to tell, but let's just see if you're not dumb in the head. So Deku keeps watching, and he's just there like reminiscing, and he's starting to remember his father, but he could never remember his face. Like, never. It was just really weird. Every time he remembered something about him, his face was always faded. It was like this was their mental, something in his brain was just blocking it out. And he didn't pay any mind to it though, and he just kept watching, and he's watching and watching and watching, and little does he know, their tears are coming out from his eyes. He doesn't know it is, but it's happening, and Inko Inko wondered where Deku went because he was there a second ago. He left, and she knew he left. He came back, then left again. And she did think he was in the cinema, so she went along with Momo, Suyu, and Jiro. And they went in the cinema and didn't see Deku. But they did see some tapes on the floor. Well, not tapes on the floor, but like, they did see that tapes were moved. And Inko went over, and she knows that she's the only person that has a tape thing in her house. So she goes up to her room, and she sees Deku just crying. And, well, not crying. They can tell that he doesn't know he's crying, but like, he's crying though. He's just watching something, and they never seen Deku cry, so it's also a good sight for like Momo, Suyu, and Jiro. But it's also a bad sight because they don't know why he's crying, and it could be something sad or it could be something happy. They don't really know. So they're happy because they're getting to see a side of Deku that they didn't see before. But now they're sad because this side of Deku could be like bad. Not bad, but like, you understand what I'm saying. So Momo, well, not Momo, Inko looks over Deku's like shoulder because they come from the door and Deku didn't realize they entered yet. So Deku's just watching the tape, and she sees it, and she's like, that's why he's crying. And they ask him like, what? Because they saw Deku's like father, and not his real father, but Hazashi that left. Hazashi that left, not Hazashi that's Deku's father, but the Hazashi that left. They seen that person, but they never seen that person. So they looking and they ask Nezuko, who's that? And then Inko explains that that's Deku's real father. Even Deku knows that, but well, she doesn't. She knew that Deku knew it, but she never like physically told him about it because she doesn't want to put that on her son. So Deku is just looking at the picture and just crying, and he finally it finishes, and he wipes his tears. He realizes that he was crying, and he wipes his tears, and he just gets up, and he got up, took out the tape, and Inko, Momo, Jiro, and Suyu were kind of freaking out because they don't want Deku to know that they were kind of spying on him. And Inko just levitates them to the sky because she has telekinesis. Yeah, I'm making her Quirk OP. She has telekinesis, and Deku, so Inko levitate them to like the roof. Well, not the roof, but like they levitate them to the sky, so Deku wouldn't able to see them. And Deku just walked right past, went back to the cinema room, put it back, came back out, and just pretended like nothing happened. So did they. And Deku, the end of the day came. Deku, Momo, Jiro, and Suyu went back to the house. Suyu went back home, or went back to her family. Momo did the same thing where Deku dropped her off. And Jiro went to Deku's house because she goes there a lot, and she can sleep there. Her parents know she sleeps there sometimes, but she does come home sometimes. Now, time skip. Deku does go to school, if you remember that, and the teacher comes in and talks about Yue and all that shit, and not Yue, about the hero course and how everybody wants to become a hero anyways. Well, not anyways, this one become to a hero anyways, and he brings up the papers. Deku makes fun of he's got a way more control over Venom, so he can venomize certain parts of his body instead of like putting on the whole suit and having a struggle to do that. Because remember, Deku did have a struggle to put on the whole suit before, because again he wasn't using the suit for 5 fucking years, so obviously he'd be a little bit rusty. So Deku grabs the paper with the web and he signs up for UA. So does Momo, Juro, and Suyu, and they hand them in, and Deku goes home. Well, where Juro follows him, and they Momo and Suyu are like at home chilling with their family, where just Juro is like with Deku, and they're watching a movie, and things kind of get a little steamy, and Deku kind of, well, Juro kind of leans on Deku's shoulder, and then Deku did notice this, and did put his hand on her hand, and they started watching a movie, and stuff got a little bit closer. Jiro got a little bit closer to Deku's face. Deku got a little bit closer, and eventually they start making out. Now, no, Jiro was only in a button-up white T-shirt, white shirt with her undergarments on, which is AKA for panties. So Deku starts kissing her and I think it escalate. So he's kissing her more and more, and he decides that he doesn't want to do this today, but he does tell her that he wants to do this sometime later, because he just doesn't want to do this today, because again, only 2 days has passed and this nigga's only got like how much hours of sleep? Bruh, this man's been up for a whole month. So he's still tired. So Jiro understands this, and he lets him sleep, and she sleeps in his bed, and they go to sleep. Then Deku wakes up, he pushes his teeth, put on his clothes. Today's a Saturday, so he doesn't really have to go and do anything, but he decides to go to train, which is particularly at Dagobah Beach. My niece. Sorry, my niece is at the door. Alright, come in the right. Hold up. Sorry about that, guys. My niece she's 3, so I have to actually take care of her. So, so Deku, so I might, so I was originally planning to make this in an hour, but since my niece is here, I kind of have to try to knock down, because like she will be interrupting, like it's not a good thing. So I'll do what I have to do. So Deku's just playing games like some Mario Brothers, and then some Mario Brothers 3D Revolution shit. I don't know, and he just playing that, and then Jiro comes out and starts playing with him, because Jiro's like a tomboy, like a tomboy. Note that I said that, like a tomboy. She's not a tomboy, but like a tomboy. If you don't know what tomboy means, it basically a girl that acts like a boy, or a boy that acts like a girl. Well, I think that's tomgirl. I don't understand this bullshit. Anyways, you understand what I'm saying though. So Deku goes and so they're playing and Momo comes because Momo's there. Like Momo's Deku's girlfriend, and Momo comes to Deku, and Deku kisses Momo, and she sits down and just watches them play a game. Like the Suyu comes on a little bit later and kisses Deku when she comes, and she goes and sit down too, and then eventually they stop and just watch a movie. Time skip. 10 months later. No, 6 months. 6 months later, Deku has trained. So has Momo, Suyu, and so has Momo, Suyu, and Jiro. Momo has learned how to place her hands on the ground and spread her to spread her like you know how when she's creating stuff there's like that pinkish, bluish, reddish like stuff that comes out of her arm before the construct do that. She learns to spread that on the ground and create stuff in that place. So like if she placed her hands on the ground, the pink and reddish thing would spread, and then she could make iron spikes. And then when the iron spikes are made, she can then she knows long distance attacks now. But it does drain her of a lot of her stamina, and she does have to eat a lot after doing this a few times. Suyu. Suyu has learned how to spit out corrosive acid because, yeah, frogs can spit out corrosive acid for some fucking reason, but crows can't do that. And poison too. Fuck. Anyways, frogs can do those things. So she's been learning how to do that, and she's learning how to spit acid, a corrosive acid stuff, and some poison. So yeah. Jiro has learned how to use her sound differently. She's learned how to amplify her song in the palm of her hand. So she can use a support. She does most of the time use a support tool for this, but she can do it physically by plugging her eardrops into her wrist, which she can do for some reason. But like, doesn't it hurt people when she does that? Because she does that to she plugs her eardrops into someone's like skull or something. I don't understand how she does it and it doesn't hurt people, but okay. She can plug it into her wrist and it doesn't hurt her because it's her quirk. And well technically it should. Anyways, and she can put sound waves in the palm of her hand, but it's more useful when she does it with a support gear, which would come with her suit. So the entrance exam comes. Now both Momo would still take the recommendation. Momo, Suyu, and Jiro would take the recommendation. Well, Deku told them to take the recommendation because it's easier path. So like, but then they angst him, and Deku was like, I really don't care about it, and he just goes. And Deku leaves, and he goes to the UA exams, and he does not meet Uraraka because he does not trip in this one. So no, that ship is not alive in this one. So tough luck, Uraraka. So Deku goes and he goes in and he does the exam and he finishes first in a minute. He finishes his whole test in a minute, and he places down, and it's not like people would see that he cheated or gave up. It's like straight up he's just finished, because the people that he was walking down the stairs, like say everybody was in a room and they were walking down, they could see answers on this nigga's paper, and when they looked they could see some of them, not all of them. So, and there were the correct answers, and he's like, man's smart and fast. So but to put it bluntly, he did use his quirk to do this, and he venomized his or symbioted his arm, so he could write faster. So fair game. So Deku gives him his paper and goes to the place. This is where everyone comes and Deku has his head down for a particular reason. A reason that I purposely didn't state before. Now, President Mike is going on and saying all that shit and doing the introduction thing. And then when he says any questions, Ida stands up and points out some stuff, and especially that the robot is like blah blah blah. Like if this is a mistake when you raise hand, you'll be really disappointed at this established school. All of that bullshit. And then he would point to Deku, saying that he was not listening for anything, and he was just there sitting down and sleeping. And this is where Deku would have noticed with him, and then people would start looking at him, and he would realize this, and he would wake up. Now, when he like got up, well not got up, like when he was starting to get up, you could see this little diamond mark on the nape of his neck. So this is where obviously where venom comes out. This is where venom comes out of his body. The diamond mark on the nape of his neck. So yeah, Deku wakes up and tells you this to bluntly and says that I have a problem with my eyes. Although I do not need glasses, light can affect my eyes, and it's probably mostly because of my quirk. So me and light don't get along together. And I was not listening. The 3-point robot, the 2-point robot, all the other stuff. I know what he was saying, but even I knew that first thing, he was going to explain it, but you interrupted him. He just told you about if any questions, so all of you are not lost. So guy, just listen and then chill and stop minding other people's business. If I was sleeping and it was because of my quirk, what have you done now? And this was a personal reason that I have, so it doesn't really make sense for you to like button other people's conversation, or not conversation per se, but like butting people's business. And Deku just sits back down and rests down his head again, because Deku does not like light. Well, his eyes don't. But if he put on glasses, it wouldn't bother him. But he has venom, so fuck glasses. So he doesn't really need light. Is hard for him to look at, so he tries to avoid it at all turns, but he can look at it. It's a weakness that he has, but he doesn't like light, but he can endure it for very long periods of time, but he doesn't really like it. So the exams start happening, and Deku goes incognito, and this is where, let's say, President might open the doors first thing, and he starts explaining, and then Deku already left, because there's no fucking goal there's no goals in a battle. Fuck you talking about? And they just hear boom, 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 and boom. And they look in and they see Deku just web slinging everywhere. He jumped into a robot, came out of his back, pulled back, used the webs to grab the robot's head and slammed it into another robot. And Deku says, he looks at, he sees fire hydrants, looks at all of them, and he jumps in the air and he shoots 15 webs at one time. And then because all the robots are, even a 0-pointer at this point, all the robots are out. And Deku just jumps in the air, uses webs, and pulls off the fire hydrant from the ground, making all the water leak out. People are just too shocked to say anything at this point. And Deku and all the water just starts spilling and just going everywhere. And then Deku went on the highest point of the building, landing, and then shooting his webs down to the ground. Then said lightning charge, and then red lightning came from his body into the webs and started to zap all the robots, destroying them. Since Deku knew that there were no actual humans on this point, and that's why at first he wasn't gonna do this, but then there was no humans, so he didn't need to. So Deku goes and he goes and he got all the points. He killed everything. So Deku just lands back on the ground, well, when the lightning stopped discharging, and he landed back on the ground, and he's in his full venom suit at this point, like full venom suit. He's in his full venom suit at this point, and he jumps down and says, there's no goal for a battle, so I don't know why all of you stayed there. So, see ya." And Deku just left. And President Mike said, "Well, I guess we have to like get some robots from the storage and get and do something else because there's no more robots as you can see. So I'll just go." And he went to Nezu. Nezu saw all of this. All my I dare you say Night Eye, Gran Torino, because they were watching the successor of All Might Bakugo, and they were watching everyone. So like they saw Deku, and Nezu is particularly interested in Deku. Deku analyzed the fire hydrants and saw that they had water in them because normal people wouldn't think they had water in them, and he knew that was not a guess because he knocked before doing all of this. He knocked the water hydrants and kind of shook it and felt a waving motion. So he analyzed the fire hydrants before he used it. So he was playing smart, and he used the environment to his advantage. He knew you could discharge a lightning, so he used the water as a current for his lightning to take out all the robots at once, which Nanju thought was really, really smart. And he does know what he's going to give that position to. And so he's gone. So he's going, and All My Night Eye, and Gran Torino are looking at this, and Principal Nezu says, "It looks like both of you are wrong, All Might and Night Eye. Neither Bakugo or Muriel were the better people for the quirk in per se. It was this kid, better than both of them. Oh well. Ha ha ha." And he left. All Might and Night Eye are just dumbstruck because no matter how hard All Might could try to beat Deku in that particular situation, he couldn't. Now, I would like you to know that All Might is not invincible, especially in his weakest form. So he cannot take a certain amount of lightning, and Deku did let off a lot of fucking lightning. So even All Might, number one hero, symbol of peace, knows that if Deku was actually trying to fuck him up, he could by just using strategy pure on. And he is better than Bakugo and Muriel. He knows how to lose his quirk, and Nezu reads like Deku's quirk, and it says symbiote, which they do know is a quirk. A symbiote is like an organic manifestation of. They know what a symbiote is, and they see it, and that typically that's a very weak quirk. Like the symbiote's quirk that came before this was like, because I do believe some quirks happen twice or three times because no new quirks are born a lot, but there are quirks that happen repeatedly. So I'm gonna say Deku's is one of these quirks, and Deku's has been the strongest one they have ever seen. So yeah. So they look at it, and this is most supposed to be a very weak quirk. Only all of it could have been done is basically armor your body from hits, and that's completely it. Don't give you added agility, no added strength, nothing. But Deku mastered his ability to the point where it was overpowered, and they knew this on pure hard work because again they did have stats from when he was a kid. So they did know the symbiote was normal at some point. Well, it was never normal because it had spider powers, so fuck. It was never normal. But they did know there was something slightly wrong with it because it had an extra ability, but it didn't know it had the ability of an arachnid. But it shouldn't have been able to charge fucking lightning. So they know that Deku trained that to the point where it became like that. Not his quirk was just born like that. So they knew he was training only for like 2 years. But okay. So they know Deku was training hard, and they didn't even know that Deku was like low key not using his quirk until for 5 years. So like yeah. And it's surprising. So, anyways, Deku just left, and a few days later, Jiro, Momo, and Suyu are just sitting down on the couch, just reading a book, all of them, and the mail comes true, and Jiro opens her first, and she says she got accepted to UA by recommendation, blah blah blah. Momo, same thing. Suyu, the same thing. When Deku opens it, it says, "Hi, Izuku Midoriya. You are the top-ranking student in the school's history. Doing this, you get a seat, and you have gained a scholarship, giving you free food, basically, free food, seat on the student council, leader of your class, a representative of your class, and you're basically gonna have the second year outfit and the second year student's outfit." And Deku says I and girls are like freaking out, like what the fuck, like huh, nani? And then a few days later, Deku's like uniform came. The girls got their same uniform that they had in canon, but Deku's was different. Like always, Deku's like outfit is now the white shirt with the purple with the green epaulets with the long red tie. But on his red tie there's a silver badge, which represents that he is the head of his class or the representative of his class. He's not the class president or anything, but he does make finite decisions over his class. So he's above the class president and class vice president. He is that, and he's supposed to look after all the first years. So he's he's technically the class president for class 1B, class 1B general studies, support course, spy course. Oh no, support course. I only did that for May is what if general studies, all the others. So he's supposed to look after all the first years, and this time Deku will have to be in orientation, and I already said as Aizawa sensei knows that he has to be in the state in a orientation, so he will take them to orientation, unlike he did in canon. So the day UA come, Deku puts on his outfit, but again, it's different. Deku wears a skin-tight long-sleeve shirt that ends at his wrist, with basically the same pants, and with a white button-up shirt that ends at and the sleeves end at his shoulders, with the purple epaulets, with a golden pin on the purple epaulets, with a long red tie, with a silver pin on the tie, with his belt and I think they were black or blackish a very dark color of green, with some black dry fit with some black dry fit Nike shoes. I think that's what they're called. I'll show you in the next video. Dry fit Nike shoes, and he gets his bag, and he has a one strap bag, so puts that on, and he's going to UA. He decides to use Venom, and he puts on his Venom outfit, and he web slings, and he did to call a pizza place and tell it to live on the roof, to leave it on the roof, and then he remembered, shit, I actually supposed to go and get Jiro, Suyu, and Momo. So Deku Deku, he was not about to sacrifice that pizza, bro. They had to wait. So he went to the roof, got the pizza, start eating the pizza, while removed the bottom half of his mask and start eating it. Well, not removed it, but like it comes off because of the venom. And Deku ate his pizza, and it came back on, and Deku jumped off and whip sling back to his house. And he was incognito, so no one saw him, so he wouldn't be in trouble. So he went sling back to his house, took off the venom suit, hopped into his BMW, and drove to Jiro's house. Well, no, Suyu's house, because Suyu's closer. And Deku drove to her and pumped the horn, and Jiro and Suyu came out with her normal UA outfit, because she's not class representative, so she's not on a scholarship, so she's not doing none of that. So she gets in the car in the front seat, and Deku kisses her on the lips, and Deku drives to Jiro's house. He presses the horn. Jiro comes out, gets into the back seat. Deku drives to Momo's house, pumps the horn. Momo gets in the back seat too. So they drive off to school. Deku parks in the parking lot, and to be Pacific, in parallel parking, because Deku's a master at everything he fucking does. So parallel parking is not a problem for him, but it's a problem for me, because I cannot do parallel parking because it's fucking stupid. Anyways, parallel parking is stupid. Everyone knows that, kids. Anyways, fuck parallel parking. Anyways, I need to stop. Deku goes into the class, and the class door is really freaking big for no fucking reason. So they go on, and Deku just goes in, and he sees Ida Bakugo, which he does kind of remember, kind of feels that Bakugo is familiar, but he can't put his like pin on it. Like, he doesn't know what it is. So he lays down on the chair, and starts catching those Z's. And he decided that it was time, and he symbioted his arm and shot a web at Aizawa's head. And Aizawa eventually woke up. He told Aizawa to get on with it. I don't have all day, because I'm trying to get Z's too. And at first, Aizawa was gonna be mad, but then he was like, "Damn, this kid is just like me. You want to catch some of those Z's." So, and this is only because Deku hasn't slept in a month. Although it's been 6 months gone past, he still didn't get it make up for all that sleeping time. So he's not done yet. So then Aizawa says, originally we were not supposed to go into rotation, because I can lead my class the way I want it, but someone in here actually has to go, so I have to go, and therefore the class has to go. So unlike in canon, they go to orientation, and Nezu starts speaking, and then the big tree come out, and Deku, and they say, and the big three introducing themselves. And then Nezu says one of the contenders that probably could beat Mirio, and the strongest of the big three, is Izuku Midoriya, the first year that came in. And then he starts, when Deku was getting up from his seat and going to the stage, he starts playing of what he did in the exams. And everyone is just shocked to see how aesthetically smart he was, and using his surroundings, and seeing how powerful he was. Because he did lift up, like, he bench pressed the fucking 0-pointer. He said, "Oh, this is a light workout," and he just picked up the 0 point at one point and just threw it at some point. So they're like, "Damn, this nigga strong." And he just got up and introduced himself as Izuku Midoriya, blah 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 blah. Then they went outside to do the Quirk assessment test. Now, as I would tell Deku to go and throw the ball. Well, let's cut over to Bakugo though. Like, damn, Bakugo furious though. Like, low-key, he aggro. And this video, although I said it was gonna be short, might just be an hour. So I don't even care. So Deku goes, and he picks up the ball and he throws it super hard, causing a shockwave. But then Deku jumps and then backflips and lands on a wall and jumps from the wall towards the ball, venomizing his body. He venomized his arm or symbioted his arm, and the heads up. Then when he threw the ball, he symbioted his arm. So yeah, but then he activated his venom suit, and then the heads up display came, and it said hi, hi, master, and Deku said no problem. I have to deal with this quickly. Venom, and Deku shot a web at it, and he grabbed it and swinged in the air, and then threw it again, and it went into space. Now, guys, y'all be sleeping on Spider-Man. Spider-Man is strong as fuck, and add Spider-Man with Venom, you got a. I don't understand, bruh. Fucking nigga. Spider-Man's OP for no fucking reason. So Deku gets Infinity because that shit left the atmosphere, bruh. That shit went see a bitch and just left. So Deku goes and he dips and well not dips, he goes back down to the ground and he takes off his venom suit and it goes back into the nape of his neck. And I don't even know if I should do this. Nah, fuck it, I don't care. So Deku goes back home, and the next day comes around. Deku picks up Momo, Jiro, and Tsuyu, and they go to school. And the day passes until All Might busts into the room, saying, "I'm walking in the door like a normal person," which I do not know one normal person that does that bullshit. So, okay, but okay, All Might, and Deku doesn't freak out because he doesn't really care because that's his personality now. He doesn't really give a fuck. So Deku goes and All Might sees Deku and is like, damn. Well, damn. And Deku just doesn't care. And honestly, Deku didn't put in a hero suit, I think. And everybody knows why, because his quirk is literally a suit that makes him overpowered. So, do you really need a suit, bitch? Please. Well, technically he should have, but he does have a bulletproof like spandex on his body. Well, not on his body. On his clothes, because if he can't use venom, he's basically fucked. So he's gonna have to work on that. So Deku goes, and then the exams start. But that's where I'm gonna leave out this video, guys. I know I leave you on a cliffhanger. I don't really do that much, but I'm doing it this time. I'm trying new things with the channel. I'm not trying to. I was trying to like putting big portions of the what if really quickly, but I can't get how videos can turn out long and blah 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 and then a lot of things is going on at one time, and not a lot of people can watch that all the time. So I decided to put a little bit of filler, well not a little bit, a lot of fucking filler, and then some action here and there, and some spicy scenes sprinkled into the mix. So remember in the comments down below, type Mama Midoriya. So that's it for today.